Hello everyone, welcome to Master Speech. And today we are going to discuss about the PI, that is Perspectives in Education. It is specially meant for the APDSC students, and many are asking, sir, make the classes once again. So I want to go with this particular PIE, and today we are going to discuss specifically for like Vedanta and Sankhya philosophy. Okay, before that, we'll learn about the pre Vedic period and Vedic period, and that will be helpful to you. Okay, if you are newly watching my channel, please do subscribe and share with your friends. Okay, and I'm going to share the wonderful PPT. Okay, that will be helpful to you. Okay, be online. Okay, so today we are going to discuss education through times. Okay, so I'm Mohan. Okay, assistant professor in B.Ed College. Okay, and also I'm the lecturer for management. Okay, so let us see what is education and why it is matter. Okay, uh, see, education is how we learn new things, new skills, values to become part of our community. So it's not just knowing the instruction, but uh, through education we pass our history, identity, and culture to the next generation. So that is the reason we have to study about our past. Okay, what education means? It is a lifelong path of growing your mind, character, and social skills. Okay, it's consist of triangular thing. Okay, growing your mind, your character, and social skills. How to behave in the society to have good character and good mind. Okay, why study education in history? Okay, education history. Why we have to study? So we are going to learn about the past because how the schools was grown. Okay, why that particular ethics, the pattern of education is still important nowadays. That is the thing. And social cultural role. So education keeps traditions alive. Okay, then helps people get along and helps our culture grow. So that is the reason we need the education. We need to know about our past. Okay, so that our traditions we can keep it live. Okay, so that is the thing. So why we study the history of education? Okay, so like studying how education in India has changed help the it helps the future teacher also, future teachers understanding our education system. So where it comes, okay, where it's come from, and it gives you better view of how teaching works and how it matters. So like if we studied of the history of education, we come to know that how the learning has changed. Okay, so it is moved from local group lessons to the formal school system. Today we have, and look at early ideas. So study the main beliefs and ideas from the past. Okay, so if we know the past, we can shape our future. Okay, so we are going to learn, like if you know about the past, you know, like how the Gurukula system was there, how the Buddhist schools was there. Okay, so which was the foundation for ancient Indian education system. So the periods of education in India, so broadly categorized in 5 ways. I'll zoom it up. Okay, just wait. Okay, see. So, like Indian education has thousands of years history. So it is basically divided into five phases. Each phase has their own way of life. Early stage. So learning happens in groups, in congregation. So it is happened basically through speaking and listening. And it comes to the Vedic period. So in Vedic period, they learned about the moral values and ethical things and spiritual lessons in Gurukula systems. Then post-Vedic, okay. So after Vedic system, there's a post-Vedic, like the schools run by the Buddhist as well as Jainist. So that become popular. Then medieval period, it is also called as like maktabs and madrasas are there. Okay, so it is introduced Islamic education. Okay, then pre-independence India. So our school system got changed by the British rule, and social reforms also came into picture. So these are the five stages of education in India. Then learning styles in early times. That means Vedic or pre-Vedic. So before the formal schools was not existed. Okay, so the way of learning is by listening stories. Okay, there was no books, no classroom. Instead of people learn by doing things and listening to their elders. So the main thing is that here learning by doing. So people are learn through real life tasks like finding food and farming, making tools, and following traditions. Okay, then home and family. The family was the first school for the children in early stage. So elderly people used to taught the children how to behave, and they have the skill need to be survived. Then learning by listening. Okay, so the information is shared by talking. Okay, stories and knowledge were passed through talking. Okay, so it passed from one generation to another through oral only. Okay, so these are the early learning times. Okay, education in Vedic period. So during Vedic period, it is like around 1500 to 1600 BCE. So the new way of teaching began in India. Students went to they used to live with the teacher. Okay, the teacher is also called as guru. Okay, uh, there is a home. It is in the forest that is called as Gurukula. Everybody knows. So this gave them complete education covering lessons for their mind, spirit, and character. So the Vedic period is Gurukula way. The Gurukula system was there. Students lived with the teacher. Okay, they learn watching and listening them every day in a natural setting. So here you can see here. So teacher and student has a special bonding. It was built on trust, care, and respect each other. Good character. So learning how to become well-behaved person, self-controlled, and honest person. So this is the most part of their studies. The character building was there. Okay. Then features of Vedic period. So Vedic education was more than just lessons. It was a complete way to help the students to grow in mind, spirit, and character. So the teachers help the students to become better people in every way. The spiritual growth. So they focused on spiritual truth, sacred texts, Vedas, and Upanishads. So there was the main subject was studied is the Vedas and Upanishads. Then it is there about the values and ethics. So students learn how to become good people by practicing honest and kindness and respecting for all the uh, living things. So discipline and independence is there. So in Gurukula system, there is a respect. So early wake up as well as physical work, quiet meditation. So these help the students to become strong person, and they're able to take care of themselves and others also. So the features of Vedic education is a spiritual growth, value ethics, and discipline and independence. So Vedic schools, what the schools subjects was there. Basically, there are more. There are four books called Vedas. Okay, so this is the heart of their study. Then math and stars. So the students learned about the numbers, shapes, and the stars and planets, etc. And the one more core subject is that related to health education, health and safety. They learned about the natural medicine, how to protect themselves from others and protect themselves as well as others. So these are things. So how the teaching worked in ancient India. One is listening and repeating. So the teacher used to speak, the student has to repeat loudly. Okay, so that they can learn perfectly. Then memorizing. So they need to students spend time on memorizing important songs, maths rules, and life lessons. Talks and debates was there, so they discussed about the ideas, and so they have the debate. Okay, so that they'll improve their thinking and understanding. Learning by doing. So students learn through practice, such as working in farms, okay, studying medicines, learning crafts, etc. Then role of a teachers in ancient education. So the teacher not just like a it is more than a guide. So then in ancient education, the teacher is guru, not just a someone who give lesson, but the teacher is becomes a spiritual leader, a role model, and like a second parent. So this bond lasted lifetime and was very special. So the teacher is a guide for the spirit and mind. So he helps personal based on each student's needed. Then focus on both character and learning. Then qualities of a great teacher. So teacher expected to be live and the same values they taught. Okay, so they lived simply and they were patient. They understand how students learn best. So treat your teacher like a god. That is Tatriya Upanishad. Okay, you have to treat your teacher as a god. Okay, so this shows that how the respect and importance was given to the teachers in ancient education society. So there are in we have many universities. Okay, in ancient thing. One is Nalanda University. It is a famous school for Buddhist studies. So it has thousands of students. Okay, students came from China, Korea, and Central Asia. Then Takshashila is one of the oldest university. It taught like medicines, law, like warfare and thinking. Then religious and philosophical thing. Okay, thinking about uh, life and big questions was part of their lessons. So combining school and good characteristics, then knowledge and tradition. So many different groups such as Vedic, Buddhist, and Jain share their ideas, creating rich history of learning. Then here, the Sankhya. So I want to tell about this Sankhya philosophy. So, so who is found the Sankhya? Sankhya is there are six systems in Indian philosophy. It was started by a sage named Kapila. Sankhya known is one of the oldest ways of thinking and organizing ideas in India. So the name Sankhya means to count or number. This refers to it explains the world by breaking down everything in existence into set of basic parts and tattvas. The core concept in Sankhya is one is Purusha, Prakriti, and 25 basic parts. So, what is Purusha? Purusha means pure awareness, the true, unchanging self inside. Then Prakriti, that is nature or natural matters. So, the physical world that is always changing. So, there are 25 basic parts are there. The philosophy explain all the realities using list of 25 building blocks. Okay, how Sankhya philosophy helps in education. So Sankhya philosophy is the biggest idea how we learn. It focuses on thinking clearly, knowing ourselves, yourselves, and freezing our mind from confusion to help grow. Okay, so how we learn? So Sankhya says that we learn by looking at the world directly. So look and learn. So using logic and listening to wise advice. So it encourages students to think themselves and use facts. Okay. So how we have to learn through Sankhya philosophy? You have to look at the world directly and use your logic and listen carefully to wise advice. So it encourages students to think themselves and use facts. So know yourself. So the main goal of education in Sankhya is that you have to understanding difference between your true self as well as material world. So that helps to reach peace and freedom. Then developing your mind. So Sankhya believe that your intellect is your most important tool. Okay, intelligence is the most important tool. So education help you sharpen your mind, so so you can tell the difference between what is real and what is not. Okay, so how they used to learn by observing and knowing ourselves and developing our mind. So this is the Sankhya philosophy. So Sankhya philosophy and education. So Sankhya teaches how to think carefully, clearly about the world, and it encourages students to look at the past things appear on the surface and ask deep questions about what is truly real. So emphasis on thinking clearly. Sankhya focus on logic. So students learn to sort information, study facts, then reason for themselves instead of just believing what they told. So understanding the nature. So the Sankhya has 25 basic elements of nature. So student has to learn to understand the physical world and life itself, which will the strong base for learning. So Sankhya shows that how to help students become independent thinkers who can analyze the things on their own, a skill that is very important in school days. Okay, that means so we have to focus that let them have independent thinkers. So we have to make our students to think independently. They have to analyze the things. Okay, this is the thing. Then Vedanta. So Vedanta means it is one of the most important schools in Indian philosophy. Vedanta means it is end of Vedas. Okay, so it refers to the Upanishads, which final parts of the Vedic text that hold deepest lessons. Okay, lessons. So Vedanta answer big questions about being humans, who we are, what is the reality. Okay, how we connect the rest of the world. That says about that. The key ideas here that Brahman. So the true and infinite reality. What is the source of everything? That is Brahman. Then Atma. It says about self or soul, so which is actually one of with Brahman. Then Maya, so it is a trick or illusion that hides the truth nature of the world. Then Moksha, it is a freedom. Okay, so the goal of life is reached by knowing your true self. So these are the things. So Vedanta view on education. So one thing is that it is not just learning the facts. So it is a journey. Is education is a journey, not knowing to truly understanding yourself, but you are the part of universal that you have to understand. First of all, you know yourself. The main goal of education is that know yourself. So understanding your true inner self is the most important part of learning. Then living ethically. Vedanta teaches that living a good life, being honest, kind, and pure, so it is a necessary you become good human being. Okay, live like a spiritual person. Okay, then inner growth. So education not only help the students to grow inside, but also it creates a building calm, peacefulness, kindness, and dedication, while also developing the mind. So Vedanta view on as education is that know yourself, living ethically, inner growth. That is the thing. So Vedanta philosophy and education. So it says a close relationship between teacher and student. So the teachers not only give the facts, but to give the students to in their life journey and discover themselves. So the student teacher relationship is very sacred and very holy. Okay, so the teacher is the guide. So the teacher helps the student move past confusion to discover their true self. So teaching seen as a act of kindness and helping others. That is the thing. Then the Vedanta focused on meditation. So Vedanta teaches that staying focused, not get confused, practice self-control and calming your mind. As that is an important habit of for any student who want to learn. So this is the thing. So the ancient Indian ideas like Sankhya and Vedanta had a big impact on how we think about learning. So these ideas are not just the past one, but still important nowadays. So this is as a teacher, as a student, your teacher, you have to teach you should have the kindness, mindfulness. So these are the key things as a teacher you have to learn. So this is about the Sankhya and Vedanta. So after that, ST education pre-independence. We have traditional systems like Gurukula system. Then in medieval period, maktabs and madrasas. Then along with that, it is a pre-independent Gurukulas there. Then maktabs and madrasas. So these are open along with the British schools. So these maktabs or gurukulas, madrasas, they keep our knowledge live. Then modern education begins. It is began in 1835. English school was started in 1857. So universities are built like Mumbai, Calcutta, and Madras universities are established. Then social reforms movement was there. So leaders like Raja Ram Mohan Rai, Jyotiba Phule, and Savitribai Phule fought everyone to right to learn, especially women and those who were often left out. So this is a pre-independent education. So why we need to the history of education is a long, okay, started with pre-independent, pre-Vedic period, ancient period, then pre-Vedic period, then Vedic period. Then after that, there is a Buddhist, Jainist, and medieval period. Then pre-independence. Then it is after independence, the contemporary education was there. So when teachers know the history of education, so they become good teachers, they become thoughtful teachers, they are going to have more respectable choice for their students in the classroom. So still ancient uh, uh, patterns fill uses like developing the whole person, so complete person development. So we teach good morals, so learning to know yourself or ourselves, so still very important nowadays. Okay, as Swami Vivekananda says that education is the way to bring our perfect that is already inside a person. So bring out, you have to bring out perfection from through education. That is Swami Vivekananda ji told. So this is a small presentation from the history of education. The main focus is on that Vedanta and Sankhya philosophy. So go through this video again and again. That will be helpful to you. You can also join my course by downloading Masters Teach app. Okay, so where we can have this wonderful PPT to you. Thank you. All the best for your coming examination. So I'm stopping here. We'll meet in the next lecture with a new with a new concept. So thank you all. So we'll end up here. Thank you.